At Apollo, safety is a value, not a priority. We are committed to embracing an injury-free workplace. This video is for informative purposes only and should not be used to place a hands-on training. Make sure you've been cleared with your supervisor before using this machine. Alright, this machine here is our punch, also known as the Whitney. What it can do, obviously, it's just a quicker, faster way to put holes in your material, especially if you got a bunch of them. You can set it up and just start banging away at them way faster than drilling. When you are using this machine, number one thing is always have your safety glasses on in case you guys do break or anything like that can happen. No real tooling that you need for yourself when you come over. Everything that you have as far as your layout goes, for your layout tools, that all should be done at your workbench. Bring it over here to work, that way this area stays free of clutter. Very important. So prior to starting, there's a couple things that you need to do. You always need to make sure you have the right tool for what you're going to punch. If you don't have the right tooling in there, it could either damage the die again, or it could damage you, which is what we don't want. Okay, so the first thing I do when I walk up to this machine is I'm going to select the correct, like I said, the correct tooling. I've already pre-picked this out, but this is just a die. And with that die, you have the bottom die. Now the bottom die is where you can go wrong. So you always need to make sure you have the correct bottom die. And when you do that, if you are not sure on which bottom die to use, you can refer to the clearance chart, which is over there. The thicker the material, the bigger the bottom die needs to be. Now that I have that, the right bottom die holder, I don't know the proper name for it. Once you have chosen that, I'm ready to set it up. So you always want to make sure that's set in there snug and proper. You grab your stripper. Slide on like that. Now when I go to put in my top die, it does have a flat side on there, which always needs to face the set screw. On the right hand side, got that in there. Tighten it down with an Allen wrench. Want that nice and snug. Now placing the bottom die, it's very important that you put it in the right way. It does have a little notch on the front. And you always want the bigger side on the bottom. Drop that in there, like I said, you want the notch coming towards you to the front. Now that's all in place. So from right here on, switch this over to lock. That brings this forward, and that'll hold that bottom die in place so it cannot move. Now I'm ready to swing this into place. There, that locks into place there. And now I'm ready to check. Kind of very important that this stain stays on jog when you're setting up your machine. Once I hit these two buttons, you just got to bring that tooling down. You don't want it to cycle just in case that it's not set up correctly. If it runs, it's going to cycle down and can damage the die. So I'm in jog. That turns it on. And I like to check it with the foot pedal. Pedal sparks up and down, and I just kind of bring it down really slow to make sure that it's going to hit it nice and steady. Okay, now that once I know that, now I'm ready to punch. Okay, so now I'm going to set up the bag gauge, which is used for if you got like a lot of pieces and you need to do a hole in the same spot every time on a bunch of pieces. For this specific piece here, I don't really need it, but I'm going to show you how to set it up anyway. You do have an Allen wrench here, which will loosen this screw, which allows you to move the back gauge forward and backward. And it does have a small little ruler on here that'll get you close. Once you got it where you want it, it can lock into place, and then you just tighten that set screw back up. Once that's locked, it does have a fine adjustment here. So if I got like 4 1/4, I set this at 4, and I'm able to adjust that 1/4 inch right here with the fine tuning. And then I can put my stops all along here or on that side if needed. Like I said, for this specific piece, I don't really need one. I did all my layout already. I got my hole pricked right to the center of this piece. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna bring this die down just a little bit, and I'm gonna put my piece in there. You never wanna put your finger in between the material and the tooling at any time. It's about the only really specific hazard with this. It does have a bad pinch point, and of course you always want your safety glasses on in case for any reason something happens. Okay, so now, like I said, I'm gonna bring the tooling down. I'm gonna line up my piece. Felt it go in there. I like to bring it down. And then, like I said, if you got a bunch of holes, a good thing to do is dab a little cutting oil on there. It just helps lube the die as it's going through the metal. Okay, so once I have that, now I'm good to go. I'm just gonna hit the pedal. When it's on jog mode, what that means is you're controlling the pedal up and down. If I put it on run, I just have to hit the pedal once and it's gonna cycle all the way through. So in this case, it's on jog. I hold it down, it stops. When I want it to come up, that's when it's gonna come up. You always wanna make sure there's strippers in here to hold the material down before you come up, or else it's just gonna bring your material up and get stuck. That does that. Now I have my hole, and now I'm done with this piece. Proper way to leave this machine when you're done is to put away everything that you took out. So make sure you take out your top, bottom die, put those in the correct slot. Make sure you undo that, take that apart, loosen up the backstop, and leave it empty the way that you came. And remember, Apollo expects each worker to go home in the same condition that they came to work. Anything less than that is unacceptable. If you're unsure, stop and ask. Home healthy, home safe.